Welcome to the Weigh In Podcast, your prescription for a healthier life, where wellness is more than just a number on a scale. We'll dive deep into not just weight loss, but the medical, emotional, and lifestyle aspects of well-being.
In each episode, we'll weigh in on hot topics ranging from diet myths and exercise trends to mental health and chronic disease management, providing you with the evidence-based advice to guide your health decisions. Remember, it's not just about the weight on the scale, but about creating a healthier, more balanced you. Hey,
Hello,
everyone.
friend.
Hello. It's been a minute since we've done a podcast. It's been like a few months, I want to say.
Yes, girl. The struggle was real with trying to get my podcast equipment out. I still don't have it all together. I'm missing half my microphone, y'all.
She's like holding it up with a string.
Holding it up like I'm Michael Jackson.
Yeah, it is rough. It is rough out here.
But it's nice to be back. We're very happy to be back with you guys.
Yeah, so excited for season 2. We just wanted to kind of talk about just the different things that we'll be going into this season. I know Katie's been on a real binge with her anti-aging wellness. So I'm gonna let you explain like what you've been into lately.
Yeah, so for all of my biohackers out there, Lifefire has definitely sort of started to add that arm to our clinic, which is really cool. When we added in the Phoenix Lounge, which is kind of like our self-guided spa lounge, we added in red light therapy. We added in a PEMF mat, and we also added additional anti-aging services. And we call that sort of like section of Lifefire Continuum, with the focus being on like anti-aging and overall wellness. So optimization. And then another sort of arm of Lifefire Continuum is hormone optimization therapy and hormone replacement therapy, which is definitely the A-list clinic's jam. So I'm so glad that we both kind of ended up like taking the same right turn.
Yeah. Well, I wanted to ask you, you kind of mentioned a few things and I'm like, wait, hold on. What's a biohacker?
Biohacker is essentially somebody who wants to like hack into their biology. That's the term, like biohack. So these are people who oftentimes will experiment with things like supplements. They might take drugs or might be prescribed medications that are specific to sort of anti-aging that sort of the rest of the mainstream hasn't done yet. And they also may do kind of other things. So examples of sort of like biohacking would be red light therapy, cryotherapy. These are all things, and biohacking has gotten more and more popular sort of over the years. But it's essentially people that kind of like want to like hack into their biology. So it's a really cool thing. And it's actually a very logical next step for those of you that have lost the weight, but ultimately want to be well, right? Which should be the goal, right? We all want to like look cute, but we also really want to feel well and we want to live for as long as possible. And a lot of these things can really sort of help us.
Okay. Are there any lab tests that you do to figure out like what you need to supplement with?
Absolutely. There are labs that we sometimes can do, depending on sort of what the patient's interest is, what it is that they're trying to optimize or maybe need to optimize. We definitely do oftentimes do lab work. We oftentimes add in supplements. These patients are oftentimes great candidates for things like hormones and peptides, IV infusions, injections like NAD+. So these are sort of all the things, again, the goal being to sort of optimize your health, right? So sort of like the tagline for Lifefire Continuum is ignite your health span. And that's exactly what we're trying to do. So I think more to come on that. And some of our guests this season will definitely be embodying that. This is definitely not just a Lifefire thing. This has been something that many other people in the medical field are starting to accept more and are starting to get really excited about. So I'm really excited that Lifefire gets to be a part of that. And to be honest with you guys, I'm also like really into it myself. I do it regularly.
Yeah, she listed all her supplements and I'm like, girl, this is like a geriatric medication list. 2 pages. She's like,
I love I love my protocols. I love my protocols and I love my supplements.
She's like, I take coenzyme 10, I take L-arginine, I take vitamin D, I take B12, I take NAD. I'm like, whoa, girl.
I I love it. I love it. I love the organizing it. And moreover, I love the way that I feel. I feel at my healthiest, right? It's awesome to like be in your, sort of like late 30s and be able to be like, I feel great. Like I'm in great shape. My skin looks great. If I do say so myself, my energy levels are really good. I'm sleeping well. And so, yeah, we're in, as you guys have probably heard us mention before, we're in like a little group chat, like us and our other friend, Emily. So we send little messages to each other all the time. And I definitely was like, do you guys want to see my supplement protocol? And of course it was crickets because nobody really cares. I'm like, I know you guys want to see it. Send. And I sent them this like multi-page list of all the things of like my personal regimen. But I do really enjoy it, and you don't have to be hardcore with it like me, right? You can kind of be like middle of the ground with it. Maybe for you just like to get red light therapy here and there, and that's okay too. Maybe you just like the occasional IV infusion. There's a large gamut of sort of what you can do. Again, just as a reminder, some stuff that you want to do safely though, right? Which luckily there's a lot of very safe, repeatable clinics that do offer these services.
Yeah. I'm just talking crap. I think it's great that you're doing all the supplements. And eventually that's something that I want to get into as well. Um, and then you mentioned red light therapy and something called PEMF. I don't even know what that is. Could you go into both of those and what they do?
That is actually like a really good question. So, I'm trying to think of which one is the easiest to talk about
Probably red light
first.
therapy since you've been doing that like for a while now, right?
Oh yeah. I love red light therapy. I do it. I do both regularly. But basically, what this is, it's also sometimes known as like low level laser therapy or like photobiomodulation. It's essentially like this low energy beam of red light that stimulates your cells to regenerate. And this can give you a wide range of benefits, skin benefits. It can help with sleep. It can help with mental health sometimes. It can help with weight loss. So there's a ton of benefits. And also, I think people, when they're getting the red light therapy during and after, they just feel really, really well, which is a great feeling as well. I love doing it. Another amazing thing that I should have mentioned first is it can also help with like chronic pain and inflammation.
Wow. Okay. Very cool. I've seen like kind of this biohacker movement and stuff. So again, I'm going to be really excited to know more about it this coming season. Katie had mentioned about the A-list doing hormone replacement therapy. I've been on that train for a while, and it took
Mm-hmm.
me some time to actually get on it fully. And I know there's some doubts and some like stigma with hormone replacement therapy. So yeah, this coming season, we'll love to educate you guys on just the studies that are out there and why it's beneficial for you. Um, and when I talk about hormones, we're talking about thyroid, we're talking about testosterone,
Mm-hmm.
estrogen, progesterone, um, DHEA. These hormones are actually very good for you. And as you get older, you do tend to have lower levels, especially when you're approaching like perimenopause or menopause for our ladies. And I've
Mm-hmm.
had some clients come to me that want to lose weight and they've been very active their whole life up until menopause. With the loss of estrogen, it does contribute to weight gain. So I have clients that are on the GLP-1s, but I also try to suggest like let's look into your hormones. Like if we can fix your hormones, I think that'll be more of a root cause solution. And while I think GLP-1s are great, sometimes it could kind of be a band-aid for some people. You can lose the weight, but like if you're still having these hormone issues, you will still continue to have weight issues as well. So I think if we can target your hormones and get those optimized, then you're gonna feel a lot better. Possibly might not need to use the GLP-1s. So for guys too, with the testosterone, like low testosterone can start even at an early age. People always are like, and when they're on testosterone therapy, say you're like in your late 30s or 40s, and then you take the testosterone, like you feel like you're in your 20s. The reason why is because like guys in their 20s have really good testosterone levels, and
Mm-hmm.
this declines as you get older. And I think Katie can attest to a personal situation
Yeah.
if she wanted to talk about that. And so Yeah,
Yeah.
it's really beneficial.
My husband is on TRT, and he's much happier. I think our whole family is happier. I'm definitely happier. I think it's, it's not just him, it's all of my male patients. It's so crazy, you guys. They come in, like, generally speaking, I don't want to say they're all necessarily depressed, but there's this general sense of like kind of having like a like the blahs, right? Like they kind of like have not that much motivation. They're kind of feeling down, right? And it's really cool to see how once they get optimized on testosterone therapy, they literally are like completely different people. They're suddenly
They
motivated
are
to
a
do things.
stallion. I'll say that.
Yep, yep. Yeah, they're different people. And I think it's a really, really great thing to consider. And if you're a woman listening to this, I think that testosterone is like a wonderful thing to consider encouraging your husband to get on if you think that he needs it. Also, women can get testosterone as well, which we'll be going into over the course of this season. Hormone replacement therapy is definitely kind of like where it's at. And I think that we would be remiss to not offer it to our clients. We're trying to kind of like encourage wellness. And if we're trying to sort of optimize people in general, this is like one of the mainstay ways to do it. So I'm really glad that you're offering it. And I'm glad that A-List Clinic is evolving into sort of offering, because I know your passion long before any of this was like your passion is like functional medicine. And so it's cool that you're kind of able to wear that hat with the A-List Clinic now by offering HRT, and you're so good at it. So it's so cool to see.
Yeah, I mean, we both come from traditional medicine. Like Katie's worked in ER, I've worked in med surg, and just seeing the traditional healthcare models now. And I think people have kind of gotten more of this awakening ever since, like, that CEO got fatally murdered.
Mm-hmm.
People have expressed their frustration with insurance companies and all that and traditional medicine models. And this is the reason why we like to have our own clinics, is because we can finally be able to make that impact on our patients by providing these therapies. Because like I said before, the hormone replacement therapies is kind of looked down on from traditional doctors. Like if you ask your primary care doctor, like, hey, I want to take a look at my testosterone or like my estrogen and stuff, they might shoot you down and be like, why?
Mm-hmm.
They weren't taught this in medicine. I wasn't taught this either in nursing. We were kind of taught that hormones were bad for you, essentially. And after kind of looking back at the studies that were done and how inaccurate they were, it's really shifted that focus on like, hormones are actually good for you. And again, we'll go into this in more later episodes, but in general, like, how do you feel like you would be eligible for this? If you're experiencing weight gain, if you're having insomnia, if you're having depression or anxiety, if you're having low energy, decreased libido, there's so many things that come into play which are being treated with other medications now. For example, like if you're depressed, you're taking a antidepressant. If you're having high cholesterol levels, you're taking a statin. And now we've seen that, well, GLP-1s can actually help with a lot of these issues too.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, there is more of a root cause to these symptoms. So it's worth getting your hormones checked and being checked by a provider who could actually interpret these labs and be able to prescribe you the correct therapies. Because again, if you go to your primary doctor, they're just going to poo-poo you and be like, nah, you don't need that. Like, this is normal. Like, feeling like this at an older age, like having all these symptoms shouldn't be expected. It's kind of sad that this is like kind of just the standard. Like Katie said,
Mm-hmm.
she's feeling great. There's like no reason why you need to feel like, oh, this is like the end of the road for me and this is how it's going to be for the rest of my life. And it's not like, oh, it was only in my 20s where I was just like having the time of my life. No, you can definitely continue to still be active and still have great relationships with your partner just by doing some hormone replacement therapy. So,
Yep, I completely agree. There's unfortunately sometimes a lot of stigma related to hormone replacement therapy that's actually based on misinformation. But I think I speak for both clinics when I say that any of my current clients know that I don't offer medicine or treatments that are not rooted in legitimate science. I'm not really, I'm not adventurous enough to ever give my patients things that I think are unsafe or things that are not based in proven legitimate science. And hormone replacement therapy is definitely one of those very, very safe and effective modalities. It's not like a maybe you'll feel better. If you're somebody who needs HRT, you are somebody who will feel better. And it really can be life altering, right? Because who wants to live feeling like just okay, right? Everybody deserves to feel well.
Yeah, absolutely. And there's been this one doctor out in Europe who's actually been doing testosterone pellets on patients, like female patients that have had breast cancer. Like they put it right next to the tumor because I know that this is a fear that some other people have, that they're worried that HRT will cause cancer. The other studies that I've read, it's actually been shown to prove the opposite. It actually helps either stop or completely decrease cancer altogether, especially with like prostate cancer or breast cancer. So in case that was a concern that you had, which is totally valid, just know that over like, the past 20 something years since hormones have been completely just like, on the back burner, like it's actually been very beneficial. So yeah, really excited to explore that this season. But otherwise, yeah, I just wanted to ask you, Katie, like what you've been up to since we've last chatted. I think it was just in December. It's been like two
Oh my gosh,
two
it's
months.
been it's been so long, I feel like. Is it December that we had our last episode?
Mm-hmm.
I guess so. Well, as far as the clinic knows, as you know, we already, we've added in a bunch of fun things. We also added in like a body composition scale, which we're rolling out to our clients next week. So lots of fun things happening with the clinic. And then at home, we didn't really go on any crazy vacations. Which is doesn't matter because you have totally made up for it with the amount of vacations that you've gone on.
Yeah.
So we've kind of just been like chilling, really, kind of just like business as usual. My kids play sports. So those of you that are parents that have kids in sports, you already know how busy this can be. We're kind of ending basketball season for the one kid and the other one has started spring track season. So when one thing ends, another thing starts. But overall, I've been feeling well. Like I said, I've really been feeling good. And like I said, I was never feeling bad or terrible. It's just that I feel exceptionally great. And yeah, I would say that's kind of like the long and short of it. Doing some teaching. I've been doing a lot of teaching on preventative care and giving some lectures on weight management. So that's been fun as well.
Wow, we have an expert of sorts with us then. Oh, that's amazing. Yeah, same with me. I mean, okay, yeah, my last trip was in January. Went to Australia, New Zealand, and it was really fun. It was their summertime over there. Although 2 days into it, like we started to have the LA fires, so that was kind of a bummer.
Oh, yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, but luckily, my friends and my family are totally fine. We didn't lose anything, but yeah, it was just devastating for Los Angeles. Something somber to come home to, but otherwise, yeah, the trip was great. We did the like Lord of the Rings Hobbit tour over there in New Zealand. So that was really fun. New Zealand is just gorgeous, just super, super gorgeous. I would love to come back and like do more water sports because we stayed in Queenstown, which is like South New Zealand. And it's just a huge lake that's just, it's so gorgeous. Like how I can compare it, I guess like in California, we have Lake Tahoe. It looks like Lake Tahoe, or like maybe Big Bear, Lake Arrowhead, that type of area.
Okay.
And the sun was out for like 15 hours. Like it would rise at like 6:30 and then goes down at like 9:30. So
Wow.
yeah, like so
Wow.
you had the sun the whole day. So it'll be like 8 p.m. and
That would like
you
weird
don't
me
feel
out.
tired.
Yeah.
Yeah. So versus when I came back, it's like still daylight savings over here. The sun goes down by like 4 p.m. It's like depressing. But yeah, it was super cool. And then ever since then, I've kind of just laid low. I do not have any like international trips planned, and I kind of just want to stick around.
Because you did a lot of traveling. You did so much traveling that I started to miss you, and you live in California. So
yeah, like the only trips I have coming up is like the annual one I have with Katie and Emily.
yes.
Yeah, and then just some camping trips, but otherwise, yeah, just kind of just staying low and
keeping it low key.
yeah. So, but we did get a new dog. We got Mia, who's like a year old. She's a German Shepherd. We've had her for a month now. Got her from the shelter, and she's just been the sweetest little.
She's
well,
adorable.
she's not little, but she's big. Yeah, she's been so sweet, and it's been super fun taking her to the park and just kind of getting her acclimated to us. And yeah, it's been real fun having Mia around. So my other dog Ringo has been trying to accommodate as well, but it's
Oh
been
yeah.
a bit of a transition. He's just not used to other dogs, like in general. So especially a big dog, he's just like she'll turn around and like she's so big she doesn't really realize how big her body is, and he'll be like growling at her like, your butt's in my face, like, ah, you know. So but yeah, it's been super cool, and I've actually been more active with her because like German Shepherd mixes, they need a lot of energy to be released. They need a lot of exercise, on average like 1 to 2 hours a day. So you know, we've been taking her to the park, just been throwing the ball around. I've also been trying to run with her, which has been proven to be a challenge because, you know, she wants to sniff stuff and like
Yeah.
stop. And then there's other dogs coming around, and she's so friendly. Like she wants to say hi to everybody. You know, I'm like, Mia, like, let's go, you know, but she like whines and she's jumping up like, I want to say hi. I'm like, no, not right now. So yeah, but it's been super fun. So yeah,
That's
that's
really
been me.
exciting, actually.
Yeah. Yeah.
Having a new addition to the family is always
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah. So yeah,
I'll tell you, baby was born. My first nephew was born. I don't know how I forgot about that, but
that's right.
he's
Yeah.
super cute.
Oh, I'm so happy for your sister. That's great.
Yeah.
Yeah. But a lot of exciting things coming up this season. Again, we're going to be going more into like the anti-aging and more HRT stuff. Still weight loss, of course, but we're going to try to expand our world with other modalities. So yeah, looking forward to it, and taking you guys along for the ride.
Absolutely. And I'm so sorry. I forgot to, after we did all this talking, I forgot to tell people what a PEMF mat actually is. So
Yeah,
a PEMF
please.
mat is pulse electromagnetic therapy. So this is a really, really cool mat. Essentially, it delivers like these electromagnetic pulses, and these pulses sort of like these pulsations kind of stimulate cellular activity. And it can promote like circulation. It promotes overall wellness. It is particularly good for people that are struggling with pain and inflammation. It also can like support like stress relief, relaxation. It improves circulation. It can help with sleep. So it's awesome. The one we have in the Phoenix Lounge is like heated, and it also is like crystal infused. So it's really cool to use with the red light therapy. But we'll be sharing all these kinds of like things with you, and how you guys can ultimately integrate some of these sort of like wellness optimization tools into the rest of your life. And it doesn't have to be, you don't have to be as extreme as I am. It could just be something small that you do that ultimately will extend your life. And we'll also be sort of hopefully teaching you guys about some of the easier things that you can access, even if it's like a very basic supplement that you can take that can, again, help with your weight loss, help with your wellness, and again, extend your life.
Yeah, I'm so excited to hear more about it because, again, like you've just been on this binge, and I'm like, huh? So I want to have the Kool-Aid. I want to drink what you're drinking. So can't
and
wait
it's
to
cool
hear
because
all about
Emily's
it.
starting to get into it too. So I'm like, oh yeah, Emily, like you know what I'm
Yeah,
talking
because she
about.
came over to your clinic, and did
Oh
she get to try
yeah,
it?
Emily, you are absolutely right. Emily and her mom came, and they actually did the Phoenix Lounge, and since then Emily's been like even more into sort of this biohacking life. So it's really cool to see. We'll definitely have to have you come to Pennsylvania and check it all out. And we
Yeah,
have our
for
girls trip
sure.
coming up soon. Well, not that soon, but in a couple of months.
Yeah, in May. So yeah, stay tuned. There's just so many exciting things coming up, and can't wait for you guys to listen.
Welcome back, Sherra.
Thank you for having me.
Of course. We would not have been able to not have you because everyone's been like, "What's up with Sherra? How's it going?" We couldn't
It's
leave
been
your story
going
unfinished.
good.
Yeah. So just to
Definitely.
recap, Sherra is the medical assistant at Lifefire Weight and Wellness, and sometime last year she started on
I'm sorry to
semaglutide.
correct you. She's the medical assistant and clinical office manager at Lifefire Weight and Wellness.
That part. So so yeah, this is obviously off the cuff. No one
We
planned.
literally are just winging it.
Yes. So to recap, Sherra started semaglutide last year, and she's been doing great. I'm going to let her do the talking, of course, on where we left off. But I remember that she went on a trip with her girls back in February, and she had done this trip, I think, a while back like a couple years ago and just didn't feel comfortable at all. So I'd love to hear the update on that. But without further ado, here is Sherra.
Yes, we go on a girls' trip every year. We started it, all of me and my girlfriends, a lot of us, the three of us got pregnant around the same time, had our babies around the same time. One of them has twin boys, and then me and one of my other girlfriends, we both have boys, so we're boy moms. And so we started this trip when our babies were about 1.5, 2. And the first year was great. Everybody was feeling good. And then the second year, we all were just like, what happened to our bodies? And so we were taking pictures. None of us posted our pictures. We were just like, we're going to keep this to ourselves. But we told, our friends, and it exploded. Everyone wanted to go with us on these trips. So this year, I was like, when I go this year, I know we're going to take a bunch of pictures. I showed Katie some of the pictures, and it's like everyone's wearing bright colors. Everyone is glammed up. And I'm like, I cannot do this again. The same as last year. So this year I went in, when I tell you, it was chef's kiss, because there was one video I've had, everyone was wearing all white, and I come walking up, and they whip out their video cameras. It was like, we just had to get the walk up, and I was just like, yes.
Yeah.
I got to see the video, and it was like Sherra was walking on the runway.
You are a superstar. I love that. Just getting your moment, getting your 15 minutes.
I had my moment.
And Czarina, as a total aside, we got to step it up for our girls' trip, because their girls' trip, they had color coordinated outfits, like all white, all bright colors. I was like,
I'm getting PTSD from all the bachelorette trips that I have done.
Oh yeah, you've been on a ton.
So I want to be me. But I love that. That is so cute.
It was really, really cute.
Yeah, it was really fun. We had a day where we all wore yellow. So we went on the a catamaran, and we all had yellow bathing suits on. And then that evening, we all wore like yellow outfits and stuff. It was so cute. And it was so funny because we would walk through dinner with all of our yellows, like 16 girls, all in yellow. And everyone was just like, good job, ladies. Good job, ladies.
Just staring at you like, whoa.
Yes, we got to clap. And it was so funny, but it was so cute. We had a really good time.
Oh, that makes me so happy, because again, like you were like, I'm not posting anything, and this time around, like you're like, hey, I did all the work. I'm showing it off. This is me.
Tell us where you went, Cher. Where were you guys?
We went to Playa del Carmen, Mexico. And we stayed at the Hilton there, and it was an absolutely gorgeous hotel. I think it's called Fifth Avenue. It's like kind of like their Bourbon Street. And so we kind of did walks up and down there, and I was just like, like in my little shorts and my cute little dresses.
Oh my gosh.
I tell you, I had a time. I had so much fun, but what made it fun is that I felt comfortable. And like I say all the time, it's not about being skinny per se, it's about being comfortable. And I felt so comfortable in my skin. I was happy. I was taking pictures. I was posing, I'm wearing bathing suits, and it's like, it was just fun. We had a good time, and I just felt good being there. So yeah, I give it all up. Like when I tell you I am team semaglutide, I am team semaglutide.
Yeah, when we last left off, you were doing semaglutide for maybe about 2 months, I want to say, something like that. So can you kind of just go over like how your journey has been since then? How much, weight have you lost, or stuff like that? Would love to hear more about it.
So total, I have lost 35 pounds.
Yes.
I was in 2023, I was 220 pounds. When I started semaglutide, I was about 217. And like now to be out of the I've never been 200, nothing in my entire life. Like I've always been like in high school, junior high, all that, I was always tiny. But even in my early 20s, all the eating in the world, and I was like, okay, let me just do something different, and I would just drop the weight. It was never an issue. 30s was kind of the same. I got married when I was about 35-ish, and I had to lose a couple some pounds like a couple days before my wedding, because my wedding dress it wouldn't zip, and I was just like, I know what to do. And so like 4 days before my wedding, I was able to lose the weight. After the baby, I don't know what my body decided to do, but it did not tell me that it was doing this. and the weight would not come off. Weight would not come off. It was crazy. And of course, age is a part of that as well. I under all those factors, but nothing, it would not move. So starting semaglutide and seeing that weight just move, oh my goodness, it was just like I can breathe again, literally, because the joints was hurting, the knees was hurting. I mean, my mom be like, why are you walking like that? What's wrong with my child? She cannot be that. Like, what's wrong with her? All of that was going on. And so now to lose that weight, to have like the size of a toddler off of me, is made a huge change in my life. It's made a huge change in my health. It's made a huge change with my family because I'm more active with my son. I'm able to do more things with my husband. I'm not just like at home, like I just gotta go to sleep. You got dinner, right? So it's like I can do more things with my family. It's just been such a huge life change. It's like a life change for me, and it's been amazing.
Awesome. I love
You can
that.
even see like the difference in like her energy levels and like her general like demeanor and aura. She comes in all energetic. She comes in the cutest outfits. Not that you weren't cute before. She just comes in like absolutely adorable and such a bundle of positivity. And I can tell that she feels like much more confident than she did before, which is really, really cool to see.
And I wanted to ask, in addition to the medication, were there other lifestyle habits that you had changed, as far as like, say, eating or exercise goes?
Eating for sure. One of the things that I find helpful with being on semaglutide is that it stops that food noise. It stops me wanting to snack and want to eat. Not that I don't still snack, I still do, I'll be honest. But I'm not like, oh, I have to have this, I have to have this, or every time I'm sitting down or laying down, I have to have something to chew on. It's not like that anymore. I'm able to choose healthier snacks too because I'm not the cravings of having chips or having candy or having something unhealthy is not there. So I'm like, okay, yesterday I had some candy. So today I'm going to switch it up. I'm going to slice up some berries and have like some strawberries and blueberries and things like that. And I'm satisfied. And I think that's the huge credit that I give semaglutide, is to be satisfied with something healthy. It's not like, oh, I ate this, now what I'm eating, because that wasn't enough. Like I'm satisfied, and that's good. And it's also helped with the snacks that I give the baby, or he's not a baby no more, he's 3 now, but the snacks that I give him, because he would eat off my plate. So if I'm eating chips, he's eating chips. If I'm eating candy, he's like, candy. He's eating candy. So now, yesterday he was like, mommy, banana. And I'm like, okay, yes. Or he's like, grapes, strawberries. Like it's not,
Aww.
it's still popsicles. I can't get him out the popsicles, but it's not candy or chips or cookies. That's what he was always asking for. Now is healthier eating. And just to see that my change in lifestyle has benefited his change in lifestyle is going to make him a healthier kid. It's going to make him more active. He won't be as sluggish. That to me is like the world. That is the world to me, because just keeping him healthy is like everything. That's what, I'm barely getting him to eat vegetables. So the fact that he's eating fruit is
That's
everything.
a W.
So, yeah.
With my friends and stuff, when they have kids, they just have trouble with their diets and stuff, of course, because they feel like, oh, I'm feeding the baby and I'm giving them all this stuff, and then I'm just eating what off of their plate. So I like that you've been able to create that change in him, and that he doesn't really necessarily crave the bad stuff anymore, because he sees what you're doing, and that's such a great impact. Because I feel like when I see new parents, they're always feeling like the kid has control of their life. So I really like that you get to change the narrative and be like, no, we can be in control here.
Yes. He still has a little control. But that I feel so strongly about that, because I've seen too many kids, not just in my family, but just in general, with illnesses from childhood because of food. And it's preventative in some ways. And I want to instill healthy eating habits. We have diabetes in my family. We have other forms of illnesses in my family, and a lot of it is direct toward food. Like we have obesity in my family. So if I can get him into healthy habits early, then down the line, that's one less thing that we have to worry about. And so I keep that in the back of my mind. It was hard at first because I wasn't doing it. So if I'm not doing it, how can I expect him to do it? And that was kind of depressing as well too. It's just like, man, I'm eating chips and I'm feeding him chips again, or I'm feeding him chicken nuggets again. It's like, oh my goodness, what can I do to make things different? And so this has helped. So now he's eating what we eat anyway. So okay, mommy's going to eat some steamed broccoli, some baked chicken. Here, let's see what you want to do. You don't want the steamed broccoli? What about some strawberries with it instead? Okay, you like the strawberries? All right, we cooking with gas now. We go. So it's really good to help install those habits into home early, especially with the family history that we have. So yeah, it's been amazing. It really has been.
That's amazing. My question for you, Sherra, is as you know, we have a lot of patients that are on semaglutide, and you've seen like the gamut of all the patients that we've had, right? So everyone's experience is different. Would you say that your experience on semaglutide is typical of what you've seen other people experience, or would you say it's different in many ways?
I think a little bit of both. So typically we don't see, or I don't see that people have such a big weight loss or a huge experience that first 4 weeks. Whereas for me, I feel like the first 4 weeks I was off and it was gone. So, and that was so encouraging for me to see, but I don't typically see that with people who are on semaglutide those first 4 weeks. Now, after that, I do see it. After those 4 weeks are passed and their body is acclimated to it, I do start to see the weight loss, and it's consistently dropping with our patients. And I think that's a good thing. So I usually, when I tell patients like, oh, I haven't lost any weight, well, give it a little bit of time. Just get to your dose. Let's give it, don't just, the first 4 weeks is just your body getting used to the medication. Now let's wait till after. And then that's when we see the drop, and that's when they come back in with the smiles, and they're like, "Oh, it's not a hoax. It works. It really works."
Yeah.
That's when we see the smiles and that joy and the twirling around on the scale and things like that. So, and the high fives and all that. So I say yes and no. For me, the first 4 weeks, I was good to go, and that's not. I feel like that's rare. We see it in some patients, but not a lot. But afterwards, especially when people get to that dose that just get them over that hump, they are they're off and running, and they do really, really well.
Yeah, I wanted to add a comment about like the first 4 weeks because the semaglutide dose is 0.25 milligrams, which I have discovered, a while back that this is considered non-therapeutic, meaning it's not supposed to make you lose weight at all. So when clients are like, I haven't seen anything happen at all this first month, I do tell them, it's just to get your body used to the medication. Like you had said, Sherra, we want you to be on this lowest dose because there's side effects to it. If we start you off at the higher dose, you're going to have the nausea, stomach upset, some problems going, either constipation, diarrhea. We don't want that to happen, right? And then that'll totally discourage people from even wanting to do the medication anymore because they feel like crap. So that's why if you're already feeling those symptoms at the lowest dose, then that probably means that you might need some additional medication, like maybe some Zofran or something to help with the nausea, whatnot. But I really try to warn people that this is not meant to like jumpstart any weight loss yet. And again, like you kind of have to think of it as like it took you this much time to gain the weight, say over several years, maybe your whole life. Like you can't expect it to finally all of a sudden drop like that. If that does happen, that's a little concerning because there's other things that can cause sudden weight loss, such as cancer. So we don't want to make sure that that's not the case. You want it to be a slow, gradual weight loss. And then another way I like to rephrase it too is like, don't focus too much on the scale, especially if you're working out. Like you could be gaining some muscle that's replacing that fat. So that might be why the scale isn't moving the way you might want it to. And again, it's important to maintain your muscle mass. So that's why, aside from the scale, want to make sure that you're doing body measurements, that you're also just comparing your clothes. Like if you've gone down in pant size, like that's wonderful. Yeah. I know that also there's other body composition scales out there now, which I believe Katie has gotten, and I'm working on it myself as well. If you want to speak more to that, Katie, but so many different ways to measure body composition. So kind of just reframing it from weight loss to like, fat loss and body composition.
I completely agree. And just one other thing to add about those first 4 weeks is it's for a reason. As somebody that's worked in emergency medicine for over a decade, if you decide to jump and skip doses, right? Or if you decide you don't want to do whatever that lowest dose is, right? Which for some of you might be 0.25, for some of you might be 0.5, you have a high likelihood of feeling awful. And when you feel awful, it usually is in the form of intractable nausea, vomiting. And remember, semaglutide is a once weekly medication. So if you feel like crap after that dose of semaglutide, it's not going to be like a 24-hour type of thing, right? Because you're not just taking it for just a day. It's supposed to last for a week. So you're going to feel crappy for days. So it is totally worth it just to not have like the rest of your life disrupted. Even though I know it's frustrating, and even though I know that all of us, I think, struggle with wanting to compare ourselves to other people, right? And, it's hard, right? Like maybe you are a patient here and you're like, how did Sherra lose it in 4 weeks? But I didn't lose it in 4 weeks, right? Like everybody has like a different experience. On TikTok, some of the things I see, I've literally never like seen in my life, right? And I've had people on semaglutide lose 200 pounds, but some of the weight loss that I sometimes see, even from like TikTok stars, I'm like, oh, like, that's really crazy. That is definitely not the norm, right?
Yes,
so
yes.
just remember that, like, don't compare yourself to other people. You are only competing with yourself. I just went to this like women's peer mentoring meeting the other day, and they used the phrase, good for her, not for me, right? And I think that that's like really true, right? Good for that person for doing what they're doing, right? But that's not for me. Like that's not my celebration. I have my own celebration coming. And I just think that it's important to remember. Again, we're all guilty of it, but focus on your own journey. Your turn is going to come in whatever form it's going to come in.
Yeah, it's so subjective for people. Like Sherra was saying, it just depends on the dose that you're on, and it's going to be different for everybody. It's like it's not black and white. So just give it some time, and just be kind to yourself, and realize that weight loss isn't always linear too. Like for other people, you have those setbacks where maybe, I don't know, you had a bad month or something. Maybe you had some personal things going on in your life. Maybe, it contributed to that weight gain for a little bit, but just remember that, it's a journey, and it's not always going to be like easy for, if it was easy, then everybody would be doing it. Right. So
Facts.
yeah, you just got to make sure that you, keep in mind like what the end goal is, and that you're always going to be working at it, even when you're off medication. Maybe that's something we could talk about a bit later as far as maintenance goes, but yeah, weight loss is always going to be a lifelong thing.
So Cher, we just recently had a lovely patient who is going on a very, very fun Vegas vacation, right? And this patient was very, very concerned about how semaglutide was going to affect his party flow, right? And so I guess my question for you is, as somebody that's on semaglutide and was just on vacation, how did being on semaglutide impact your vacation? Did it change anything? Like, was it harder to enjoy foods? Was it harder to drink alcohol? Tell us what your experience was.
It wasn't difficult at all. For me, semaglutide never changed my taste buds, so everything still tasted good. uh, it is, for me, it's about portion control. So I still ate what I wanted to eat. If I wanted a quesadilla, I ate a quesadilla. If I wanted fajitas, I ate fajitas. If I wanted a burger, I ate a burger. And it was an all-inclusive hotel, so if I wanted a drink, I had a drink. So nothing changed in that way. What changed is the amount that I ate. That changed. And I'm happy about that, because it's a lot of work to lose weight. It's like a second full-time job. It's a lot of work. You put in so much effort, you put in so much time, energy, money, you put in a lot. And then food is not cheap. Like, so, and healthy food is even more expensive. So you put in so much of your life into losing weight. I don't want to lose that momentum over a 1 week vacation. Like, he put in weeks and days, and so for some people, years. And I don't want to lose that. So for me, it was fine. I knew I was going to eat off the diet. I knew I was going to have plenty of drinks. But what I counted on and what happened, which I'm happy that it happened, is that the amount that I ate was less. So when I came back, I didn't lose weight, but I hadn't gained any weight either. And so then I got right back where I left off. And for me, that is a good thing. Like when I first started, I was about in size 12 to 14 pants. I'm in size 8. There's no way I'm going to let that go.
You bought all these new clothes. There's no way you're gonna like not fit in them anymore.
Bags are sent out to the Goodwill. Like there is no way I'm walking into the Goodwill. I'm like, can I get them pants back? Like, so no.
What you had said about not gaining weight on vacation is like completely what I tell my patients. Like, don't focus on completely staying on your goals or whatever. Take that time to enjoy yourself. You know, you've done so much. You're going to go crazy if you're still trying to do calorie counting or whatever you do to like have the weight loss. Like, enjoy it. So I'm glad that you still were able to just eat the foods that you wanted. You probably weren't finishing your plate because you still had the medication in your system, so that's great. But you still indulged and you didn't feel bad about it. Like, I think that's a really good relationship that you have with food.
Fun. I had a great time. And it's like when I get back, everything go back to being on a diet, eating healthy. But while I'm on vacation, no baby, no husband, I'm enjoying everything in this resort. So yeah, we had a good time.
Now, Sherra, I think that you seem to have like a lot of supportive family and friends. But sometimes I get patients who are worried about going on these trips because maybe they do want to adhere to the diet while they're doing it, right? That's a personal choice, right? Some people do want to kind of like eat more carefully, or maybe they even want to stick to whatever they were doing before. And they don't feel like having to hear family members or friends be like, oh my God, you're not eating this. Oh my God, you're not eating that. So did you experience any of that? And do you have any advice for people who do experience things like that?
Personally did not experience that. But if someone did do that to me, I mind your business. But I mean, if you don't want to say mind your business, you can say, you know what? Go ahead and just eat what's on your plate. I'm just gonna eat what's on mine. It's fine. You know, I guess that's the same as mind your business. But it's like I don't know. I don't if someone is in my plate that heavy, they're like, oh, why you're not eating this? Stop following a diet or stop doing this. Have fun. You know, like I am having fun. This is fun for me. You know, I'm good. I'm good. What are we doing next? Like, let's kind of change the subject. I'm having fun. What we doing next? What's on the itinerary for what we're doing next? I guess the best thing is to get off the subject because it can make it depending on how the person is, it can become overbearing, and it can become uncomfortable. And I would never want someone that's on vacation to come back and tell me I felt so unhappy on my vacation because of this from this family member, or I felt so uncomfortable. It made me not even want to do the diet anymore. I just felt discouraged. You know, all those feelings kind of interact, or so I would never want anyone to feel that on while they're with their family or friends. So I would just say change the subject. Like, I'm fine, I'm comfortable. What's next for the itinerary? What are we doing next? Or are we doing the ATVs? Are we going to do any water sports? Let's kind of get off the subject. That's, I think, the best thing to do.
Yeah.
Everybody go to their own corners.
Yeah.
Yep.
Now, I wanted to ask Sherra, did you let people know that you were on the medication or doing weight loss?
Absolutely. That's the question I get a lot is how did you lose the weight? What are you doing? And I tell them semaglutide. I'm gonna do a medical weight loss, and then we get into a whole, conversation about it. Then you find out that this person is doing it as well, and this person is doing it as well. And, so yeah, we all were talking about it. Some of my friends have done it or were doing it. So yeah, we talked about it, and for me, I like talking about it. I think we're at an age where a lot of my friends were all around the same age. We're all going through the same things in life. And then at this age, we're all trying to lose weight, or, if you're not trying to lose weight, you have lost weight before. We all have different viewpoints, different styles, different tips, different ways of help. And you don't know that if you don't talk about it. So I enjoy
Mm-hmm.
talking about it. I enjoy telling people when I'm out at random places. I'll tell people, and then I get in whole conversations, and they like, "Well, I want a book, and where do I sign up?" So, I have no problem talking about it.
She sure doesn't. Like we'll get people who are like, "Oh, like I met Sherra at the blah blah blah," and I'm like, "Oh, that's
She's just a
amazing,
walking
Sherra."
advertisement for
She
you.
literally is. She's a walking advertisement. I'll be like, "Oh, like was it Google? Did you see her ass?" They're like, "No, no, 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 no." Like I was out shopping and I met Sherra.
That's amazing. You obviously have such a big impact on other people, and I think also surrounding yourself with good people that are open to it, or people that don't judge, because like I think that also leads into like if they comment on your food or be like, oh, why aren't you eating everything and stuff like that, which I know can be hard with family members, of course, and we've gone into that in a past episode.
Mm-hmm.
But you can't control your friends, and so if you have people that are just being really negative about what you're doing, maybe kind of reevaluate that friendship. But I think it's really great that you surround yourself with really positive people, or people that are going through the same thing as you, because you guys can all relate. And it's just a lot easier, like not doing it by yourself. I think weight loss is just not talked about as much with certain people because they feel like it's something that they look
Mm-hmm.
down on, or something that's negative. But everyone has these issues. Like, and I think it's helpful to be like, okay, oh, you're going through it too. Like, we can talk about it. You can be my buddy. We can like vent and all that stuff. So that's good that you have that tribe.
So, Cher, where are you in your weight
Yeah.
loss journey now? What are your
um,
next steps? What are your goals? Like, tell us what's next.
So now I am on a low dose of semaglutide. I actually dropped my dose. Um, and I'm really working on maintaining my weight loss. And then I'm also working on exercising. I still have not really exercised. So I'm working on really getting that in because I find that I actually like where I'm at now. I just want to tone it up. I want to tighten up a little bit. And that's exercise. So just kind of getting that into my schedule. Our hours are changing, so I'll be off Monday, so I have no excuse. So I'll be able to
True.
do something on Mondays, um, and try to do something a little bit more in the evenings. But that's kind of where I'm at in journey now. It's more of maintaining my weight loss. I'll probably be stopping within like the next couple months, and just working on the maintenance portion of the Lifefire weight loss plan. So, yeah, I'm at a really, really happy spot in this journey.
I love this for you. I really do. I really, really do.
Yeah.
And I
When you
think the
say
weight loss piece is hard. I mean, not the weight loss, well, that's hard too, but the physical activity part is really hard. Czarina, do you have any tips for her?
Yeah, well, do what you love. I think I remember you saying you liked Zumba, if I remember correctly.
I have
Um,
tried Zumba. I don't love it.
oh, sorry.
I'm,
I was like trying to remember back, like
I
when
love
we.
walking. I love like doing 5Ks. I want to really
I
get
was
back
say
Oh,
she
into
used to run
walking, running.
5Ks.
Yeah, getting into
yeah.
5Ks again. I really want to get into that again.
Yeah, I mean, if your 3-year-old is fine with being in the stroller, I would like, take him around him, right? Take him around
Yeah,
the neighborhood.
loves
Um,
it. He
and
loves
I've
the
seen
stroller.
people even in 5Ks with their little ones in the strollers too. So you can get together with maybe like one of your other mom friends and like go for walks around the neighborhood. Meanwhile, like they get to bond with their little ones. So I would try doing that. More minor stuff, maybe like during your lunch break, if you can, try to take a walk outside too. Um, However you can, just try to get those walks in. I also like using my Garmin watch or like any kind of fitness tracker. Just try and getting the 10,000 steps in per day, because that equates to like about 5 miles or so. Um, and then if you're going to like the grocery store, or if you're going to the mall, like, park farther. And then that makes you walk, like you really have to walk over there. So I've also like had one client who said one time she was really stressed from work, and retail therapy is usually her thing. So she went to Target. She walked around for maybe about 5 or 10 minutes, didn't buy anything, and walked out. So
I'm
uh,
actually more impressed that she
Walk
went to
the
Target
mall.
and didn't buy anything than I am that she got physical activity.
It's like she just needed the whiff of Target, and that was like enough for her. But she was like, "No, I'm gonna discipline myself. I'm not gonna buy anything."
I literally have never done that in my life. I am shook right now.
Yeah. I mean, I think she said she put stuff in her cart, but she never actually bought it. So like sometimes the sensation of like putting things in your cart makes you feel good too. And then like thinking, do I really need to buy this? So yeah, but that was just another way of getting some cardio in. Like my mom loves to window shop too. That's like her thing. She'll just go to the mall, take my dad with her, and then my dad will be like complaining, like, "Oh, why are we here?" But it's really just her way of exercise. So
Window shopping is actually a really great idea. I actually used to do it. Actually, when when my youngest was a toddler, to get some personal space, I'd be like, "Oh, I gotta go run errands," and I would go and take myself on this nice kid-free mall experience, and I would do it to make like a literal like list in my notes of clothes that I was planning on fitting in. I was like, oh, I'm definitely going to get this. I'm going to definitely get this in 10 pounds. I'm definitely going to get this. And that's like what I would do. Because sometimes you just need to get like out of the house. And especially when you're our age, sometimes you don't necessarily have that friend who's like randomly available during the window of time that maybe your husband happens to be home and you just like want to get out. And it actually is like a really good way to like move around. Is like, okay, like let me go check out a few stores. Let me go make a list of like things that I am gonna buy soon, etc. So it's actually a really great idea.
Love that.
Because I already know it's that toddler mom life. As Sarita was saying, take baby for a walk in the stroller, which is a phenomenal idea. I was also thinking like, sometimes she wants a break.
Oh yeah, absolutely. But
it is. It's a great way. Walking in a stroller is absolutely a great way to get exercise. But to all my toddler moms out there, I empathize. And just so you know, you are totally okay to get a break from your kids. It's so funny how I feel like in a lot of sort of like relationships, it's like mom takes the kids to the gym with her or mom takes the kids for a walk, right? And then dad like gets to go to the gym, right? Dads go to the gym and poop like no other, right? Like their bathroom time seems to be like forever, right? And their gym time seems to sometimes be forever. So I'm just saying that ladies, you can still take a break from those toddlers and get some you time and get your physical activity.
Yeah. Another thing I was going to suggest, I've seen people get a walking treadmill and they put it in their home or in their office. And so if you were like wanting to invest in like a standing desk or something and like just keep walking, or just if you're watching TV, you could be using the walking treadmill. So that's another way to just be able to stay active while multitasking.
See, a lot of our people are loving the mini stepper, the Sunny mini stepper.
That's good. Yeah. And one
It's
thing
like
I'm getting into
$50.
is line dancing. I'm starting to love, yeah. Yeah, I'm practicing the boots on the ground line dance. Almost got it, y'all. I almost got it. That turn be messing me up. But I almost got it. And then Brian Jr. is always a foot like running around my feet and trying to do it with me. This is like, you messing me up. I'm this close.
I'm gonna make you do it at work.
Just give like a line dance class at a high school this weekend, so I may go and just like do that as like exercise too.
Yeah. See, that's great. Another suggestion that I remember we talked about in another episode, like a friend was like, instead of meeting up for drinks or dinner with your girlfriends, maybe just do something active. Be like, hey, do you want to go on a hike, or do you want to do this exercise class with me? So try to make it a social thing if you can. And if they're down for that, then it's like, again, two birds with one stone. You get to like still hang out, but you're doing something active.
So true. And I really, really think that ultimately just remember something is better than nothing. You don't have to spend 2 hours at the gym. Give yourself like a realistic goal. Maybe it's just once a week you do some form of like physical activity for like even 20 minutes. Something is still better than nothing. So don't give yourself like extreme ultimatums, because that might not be realistic for your life right now. Start low and find something that you like. You'll be like way more likely to do it and to stick with it.
Yeah, like if you can't block an hour of your time or something, like you can spread that out throughout the day. So again, with all the different techniques that I had mentioned, like, walking farther from your car, that adds up. And then, going to the mall, walking around there, that adds up too. So think of it as a cumulative way of working out rather than being like, oh, I don't have an hour to like do all this at the same time. So you don't have to be discouraged to be like all or nothing. You could sprinkle it in throughout your day.
Very true.
Life has changed. I used to knock out an hour 3 times a week.
Right.
Now it's just like an hour.
Yeah, like I don't even have time for myself. Like I barely shower.
Right. Yeah, and I think also explore like what time of day works best for you for working out as well, right? Like I used to always think I needed to work out in the evenings for some reason, and I hate working out in the evening, so I have to work out in the mornings. That's just like how it is for me. So I think you have to explore like what do I actually like to do and when do I like to do it? Is it realistic that I'm going to work out when I come home from work? Some people it is, for other people it isn't.
Right, because I think you wake up earlier, Katie, right? Like you wake up
Mm-hmm.
like what, 4 or 5 in the morning just to get on your Peloton bike and get that me time.
Yeah. And now I wake up now I can now because when the office opens, I can wake up like a little bit later than that, except for those Delaware days. But yes, I wake up really early, usually before 6 a.m. or about 6 a.m. I do a workout, I take a shower, and then I head on over to Lifefire to do work. That's what I tell my family. But what I'm really doing is I'm doing some Phoenix Lounge time, usually at least 2 to 3 days a week. I'm doing some red light therapy and using the
She's been
PEMF
beating me to work. I'm like, what is she doing here so
Why is she here so early?
I try to look all serious. I'm like, tell my husband, I'm like, yeah, I gotta go. I gotta do some work. I gotta get there early and like set up and do all the things.
That's hilarious.
But whatever you have to do to kind of carve out time for yourself, I think is really, really useful. And just remember, it's not just exercise as well. Everyone that's sort of on these journeys should also be focusing on like general wellness, right? The whole reason why we want to do this is to be healthy. And there's many other categories of like health. So yes, exercise is one thing, eating healthy is another. What about like your mental health, right? Like what are you doing for yourself mentally, right? For me personally, I have a requirement on my list of things to do of like habits that I have every week that I have to do like at least one meditation a week because I feel like I need to give myself that space, right? And I also try to have one moment of like alone time a week, right? So for me, that's those 20-minute red light therapy sessions. That's just quiet and silence for like a nice 20 minutes. But making sure that you add those things and schedule those things into your life because your mental health is also really, really, really important. So
Yeah, absolutely. And also sleep is super important,
yes.
which I know can be contraindication or contradiction. Sorry, that's what I meant to say. Contradiction when you have a little one. But as best as you can, yeah, try to get in some sleep because that can also hinder your weight loss. Yeah, all very good things. It's a multifactorial thing with weight gain, weight loss. But I wanted to ask you, Sherra, do you feel you've reached goal weight now?
Wanted to get down to like 170 and I'm within that, like I'm like 5 pounds off from there. But where I'm at now though, I am happy. So it's like I'm okay with just maintaining where I'm at now. Because at first I was like, oh my goodness, this comes off so easy. I'm going to 160.
Yeah, your goal
like,
keeps changing, right?
the
I've
goal
had so
kept
many
changing.
clients tell me that.
Yeah.
One's like, oh, well, I reached goal weight. Let me see if I can get another 10 pounds. I'm like, all right.
And then my husband, he was just like, well, don't lose too much. I could really take a look. And I was just like, you know what? I like the way I look in my clothes right now. I just need to tone it up a little bit. But I like the way I look. I like the size that I'm at. I'm comfortable with it. I feel like for my age and for my height is a healthy size. So for me, I was just like, okay, Sherra, like take a breath and just relax and just stop here and just focus on working out and continuing to eat right. So for me, yes, I am at goal weight.
Awesome.
I love that.
I wanted to actually ask you, Katie, like, because Sherra was mentioning about maintenance, like what's your idea of maintenance plan for her?
That's a great question. So for her, what she'll do, and actually we are going to have a maintenance visit very soon. But as you know, I usually titrate people down first, right? Until we get to a dose that's kind of like a comfortable maintenance dose. And usually we hang out there for a little bit or for however long somebody needs, right? Like everybody has a different level of comfort. But usually we hang out at a low dose for a little bit to make sure that she's able to keep the weight off at that dose. And then we kind of pull the plug and we take her off altogether. And what the key here is the accountability piece, right? Accountability is so important during the maintenance phase. You have to find a way to hold yourself accountable. So Sherra has the amazing advantage of working at like a weight loss place. So it'll be a little bit easier for her. But I think a huge part is making sure that you have some way of holding yourself accountable during this maintenance phase, whether that's a follow-up visit, whether it's that, you know what, while I'm maintaining my weight, I'm going to track my food at least 3 to 4 days a week to hold myself accountable. But especially during those first 6 months to a year, you have to have some level of accountability. Obviously, there's more specifics. We're going to liberalize her diet a little bit. We have an emphasis on high protein diet, which I still emphasize during the maintenance phase, but I also start to emphasize making sure you have a nice amount of fiber in your diet as well, as we kind of start entering that maintenance area. But I would say the biggest thing is making sure that you stay on top of all of your hard work. So just because you got to your goal weight does not mean that the journey is over. It just means that now you're in like a different lane and you're starting a different journey. The maintenance period is really, really tough actually sometimes. And the key here is, so that you don't end up being one of those people who like regained weight from on Ozempic, is you have to commit to keeping the weight off. And if you do, you will absolutely be able to keep the weight off, but you have to really commit to it.
Yes. I wanted to add as well, I have some clients that just like to stay on the medication as part of their maintenance plan. So some don't want to be off of it completely. So what we do is that we, like you said about the right dose, whatever dose you're at that you're comfortable with, where you're not gaining weight, but you're not losing weight either, where you just stay the same. You stay at that dose, and then we just do it every 10 or 14 days. And usually you kind of know, like, I don't know if this is true for you, Shira, like towards your shot day, you're like, I'm feeling more hungry and I could eat more. And so, yeah. So usually I'm more liberal with the 10 to 14 days. Some people need to inject after 10 days. Some need to inject, some can wait till 14. So, and then we just keep checking in and seeing how you're doing. Cause it's just hard for people. Like when you were mentioning, Share, about the food noise, sometimes the food noise doesn't completely go away. I, of course, recommend meditation. I think that helps a lot. Stress, like controlling your stress, also helps too, because normally that's when the food noise kind of creeps up on you, is because internally you've got some other things that you're trying to do, like you're anxious about something or you're stressed out about something. So your body's like, well, food sounds comforting right now to me. So that's kind of where you end up going with that as comfort, right? So, yeah, I would try to find ways to reduce your stress if possible. Like I said, meditation's kind of been my go-to. I carve out maybe 5 or 10 minutes a day. And sometimes if I'm so busy, like if it's like 10 p.m. and I'm going to bed, I'm like, oh crap, I didn't meditate. So I'll meditate before I go to bed. Like, and I end up falling asleep to it. And I'm like, yeah, but it does help, I swear. So, I like
It
using
absolutely does.
Headspace.
That's awesome that you do it daily.
Yeah, I actually heard it from another podcast. He was like, people gotta just try to meditate every day, and if you break that cycle, just do it again. Like, and so I haven't broke my streak. I've been going straight for like maybe almost 90 days now,
I
and
love
so
that, because five to
yeah,
10 minutes of meditation is no joke. Like five
no,
to 10 minutes is actually a lot. That's actually very intense. So I'm so proud of you, because that's awesome.
yeah, and honestly, I feel like it's helped me in stress with so many other ways. Like I've stopped using Instagram as much. Like I'm not concerned with what other people are doing, what they're wearing, or there's no ads coming at me because there's always ads on Facebook and Instagram. But I've pretty much reduced my social media by a lot, and I think that's helped with my stress too. Like I've been more intentional with what I do. I'm not always wasting time on like the internet and stuff like that. So I think that helps. But anyway, that went off on a tangent. But yeah, stress reduction helps a lot. And I think that also can contribute to decreased food noise if you were to be off the medication. So that's just something to look into.
And sleep, again, this is where it starts to become even more important, right? Because you don't have the semaglutide as that buffer or as that kind of crutch. Really making sure that you get enough sleep. This will sort of reduce the odds of you having like an increased amount of hunger hormones in the evenings because you haven't been getting enough sleep, etc. So really try to make sure that you get enough sleep. And that's like a
Right.
huge part that we sometimes forget.
And you do get more snappy because you're like, you're sleep deprived. And then because you're
Mm-hmm.
snappy, then and then you kind of choose worse food options too. So I think, yeah, trying to prepare for that by getting enough rest the day before, if possible, helps out a lot.
And I love to add supplements in at this stage. So if you are listening to this and you're somebody who sees wellness provider of some kind, or even like your primary care provider, this is a great stage to add in supplements, right? A lot of supplements have ingredients that your body already naturally makes. And honestly, they're usually cheaper than being on the GLP-1s. And although I don't necessarily recommend them if you are obese and have a large amount of weight that you need to lose when you're in that stage, on the maintenance stage, this can be a really, really useful tool.
And I wanted to add too, like taking the medication long term, like, I mean, there's still more data that does need to be done. But as far as the research goes, after like people have been on this for maybe a year plus, there haven't been any known associated risks while being on the GLP-1s for long term. So for anyone who's
It's
listening,
approved for chronic use. So
yeah, right. And it
yeah, so you
reduces
can
so
totally
many
be
other
on it.
things. Like it
Yep.
can reduce your cholesterol levels, your blood pressure. It even improves your like hemoglobin A1C, which is like your blood sugar over the past 3 months. So it has a lot of benefits too. And even if you're someone who likes to drink, like not that you're addicted to anything but if you have some alcohol dependence, it also just reduces those cravings too. So yeah, if you're afraid of like going off the medication, just know that it's something that you can take long term and there's no like known harm to it.
Yeah, and you absolutely can take your time too. I stayed on the drug for about a year after I got to my goal weight. So you absolutely can. And then now I see people are so worried about having to spend the rest of their lives on the drug, which maybe some people do need to be on it. But just because you're on it a little longer does not mean that you're going to spend the rest of your life on it. And just because like maybe you're like Sherra and you want to get off in a couple months, and that's very much so a personal choice, and that's okay too. But just know that if you want to stay on it longer, or you find that you're needing to stay on a little bit longer, that's okay too. Think of how long it took you to gain the weight, and think of how hard it's going to be to make sure that you keep it off. So there's absolutely no shame in needing to be on a low dose for a little bit. And you definitely don't need to be too hard on yourself if that's the road that you end up needing to take.
Right. And the way I see it, it's like exercise. Like you do need to exercise every day. Like if the medication is something that you need to stay on, like I think there's no issue with that. So don't feel like, oh gosh, everyone's only on it for this amount of time. Like I should also get off of it too. It's your journey, your body. You only know yourself best, right? So do what's best for you.
It's each of our individual journeys, so you never know what you need until you need it.
Until you need it. And also, as an aside, Sherra has the amazing advantage. Again, she works at a weight loss place, so if she comes off of it in 2 months and needs to go back on it, she has the advantage of being like, "Hey, Katie, I need another follow-up visit.
I need my fix."
Yeah. You know what I mean? Like it's like a little bit different, right? So, again, don't be too hard on yourselves. But I'm so proud of Sherra. You are like amazing. It is so hard to lose weight, especially with a toddler, right? Like really,
Mhm.
it is so incredibly, incredibly hard. I know that you felt like, man, I still got baby weight and I have a toddler, but girl, I had my kids when they were older. There were some moms who were working with me as nurses who had teenagers who still had like baby weight, right? And there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
We can call a baby weight forever. It's
Right.
always their fault. But but my point is that at any stage of motherhood, it's really, really hard. But I think particularly actually in those toddler years, because when you have a toddler, literally half of your brain is dedicated towards just keeping those little munchkins alive. And
Mhm.
it's really hard to remember to even like take basic care of yourself, let alone do something like a weight loss journey, right? Which most people struggle with, right? It's a very difficult thing to do. Many people are unable to lose weight at all. So kudos to you for doing it. You look amazing. I can tell that you feel amazing. Your pictures from vacation were so cute.
Yeah. Oh, can we do like a before after? Like, I would love to just have the picture
Oh
of when
We're
you
yeah.
trying to
started.
look. Yeah, it's so funny because when I was telling Katie, I was like, I was looking for before pictures, but I was so strategic in taking my pictures that I would only take them from the face up.
They're all
That's
like
how
up
I
here.
knew that I was not feeling myself. Because when you look at pictures before the baby, I'm in full figure pictures. I angled them just right in the mirror so that you can get me from head to toe because you gotta get the shoes. So, and then after the weight, all of my pictures were like from here on up. And I'm scrolling through like, where are my pictures for before pictures? I have none. And that's how I knew, like, oh my goodness, I have got to make some changes here because For me to not have any pictures going back a year or two, almost 2 years of no full pictures. And I was just like,
literally
wow.
none, y'all. She was sending me selfies. I'm like, can I get some before pictures? She's sending me selfies, neck up pictures. I'm like, sure, what am I going to do with this? She does have a couple, so we can definitely put some before afters, but they're limited. I had to fight for them. She had to go deep into the archives of her photo album to find them.
Yeah, the ones that are in the deleted like part of your phone. Yeah, no, I have my clients when they first come into the clinic, I take pictures of them and I just say, hey, this is just going to be uploaded on your chart. We're not going to post it anywhere, but because I know, like, just like you share, like you don't take pictures of yourself, but I like want to, it's just so gratifying to see the before and after. So that's what I do. Just upload the before pictures, and then like maybe 3 months later, or like when they're like reaching their goal weight, then I take another picture of them and then show them like, hey, like look how you look, you know, like it's hard to see it when you're looking at yourself every day, looking at the mirror, you can't really tell, but like the time lapse in between, it's like it's major. So
it's so major. And a lot of our patients, they're so cute. We have some patients who want their after pictures in the same clothes they took the before pictures in.
Hell yeah, because you could really tell.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah,
so.
And they are like ready to do that after pose. I get people at the halfway point that are ready to do the midway after pose, and I'm like, all right, that's cool too.
Yeah, definitely. Awesome. Well, we appreciate you coming on the podcast and sharing your story, Sherra. It's been so fun to follow you, and we'd love to have you back again, of course, just to talk about your maintenance phase and how that's all going. But yeah, thank you again.
Thank you guys. See you later.
See you, Cher.
If you've enjoyed today's episode, please take a moment to subscribe to our podcast, give us a rating, and share with your family and friends who might find it helpful.
And remember, we love hearing from our listeners. Connect with us on our social media channels or shoot us an email with your thoughts, questions, or suggestions for future topics. Don't forget to check out our website, www.thewayinandpeace.com, and to follow us on Instagram at thewayinandpeace.
If you need one-on-one help with your weight loss or wellness journey, book a private consultation with us. The A-List Clinic can be reached at www.thealistclinic.com or on Instagram and TikTok at The A-List Clinic.
And my clinic, Lifefire Weight and Wellness, can be reached at www.lifefireweight.com or on Instagram and TikTok at Lifefire Weight.
Thanks again for tuning into the Wayne Podcast with your hosts, Katie and Czarina. Until next time, take care and be well.
The information in this podcast is for general information only. It is not intended as medical advice and should not be relied upon as a substitute for medical consultation with a qualified medical provider familiar with your medical needs.